Sometimes, life takes us on a trip we could never have expected.
Please have your boarding pass ready for validation. Thank you and have a pleasant trip.
That's exactly what happened to me when my brother suddenly needed a kidney transplant, and I was his best hope for one. This is my family's story of giving and receiving a life-saving organ.
So, when I was in the thick of it, the only way I could get through it was to keep looking forward to the next trip, to the next appointment, because it was so intense and it was so emotional. And it's only now, 2 months after the surgery, 2 months after I donated my left kidney, that I'm actually able to talk about it and to actually think about it. And this is so new to me because I'm used to telling other people's stories, not my own. But I'm sharing this experience that I went through because I really hope it will help other people too.
Like most people, I didn't think much about organ transplants until it hit close to home. I live in Toronto now. Montreal is where I grew up, where my brother still lives, and where our story begins.
Hey, sweetie.
This is the first time I've seen him since our surgeries.
Squeezy.
Okay, come on in.
The house looks so clean. That's what happens when your sister comes to town with the camera. Let me fix that for you. Oh, I never thought I'd be miking up my brother. So how are you feeling?
Pretty good. Day by day, I feel better. And so far, no adverse effects from all the medication that I'm taking, which is good.
Pretty good, eh?
And how about you? How are you feeling now?
Oh, better. Almost 100%, like close to it.
Yeah.
John was diagnosed with polycystic kidney disease 7 years ago. Cysts were growing in his kidneys, impairing their function. Most cases are hereditary. My brother and sister and I had a 50% chance of getting the disease from a parent who has it. Our dad doesn't. Our mom must have. She died of an aneurysm when we were kids. Knowing what we know now, her death was likely tied to the disease.
When your kidneys suddenly started to fail, do you remember like what was going on in your mind at the time?
It was one of the worst feelings I had. I mean, I was from one day feeling fine, and a week later I just felt completely drained. I felt like a very unhealthy person that could barely walk. I stopped eating, I stopped drinking, and then that probably precipitated the whole crash.
John was put on dialysis, and just before he asked if I would consider giving him a kidney. I immediately said yes.
And so I have to consider myself very, very lucky that I had you. You know, you feel that, why should I be so lucky? You know? And this is where you want to try to make other people feel lucky too. You know, you want to give them the option. Sorry. You want to make sure everybody has that chance. You know, and so I think it's important that you do this so other people become aware how being a living donor will save someone's life.
More than 4,000 Canadians are waiting for a transplant, and more than 250 die each year waiting for an organ. As my hospital visits began, the sobering truth set in. My brother faced up to a 5-year wait for a deceased donor because he could only draw from a narrow donor pool. He has type O blood. That means he can only receive an organ from a donor with the same blood type. Luckily, I am type O too.
My brother and I have the same blood type, so that was a good start, but it was just the beginning of an exhaustive assessment process that took place here at the Royal Victoria Hospital to determine whether or not we were a match, but also whether or not I was a good candidate to be a live donor. So I went through every test imaginable from head to toe. I was screened for any possible sign of infection or disease, and that's inherently stressful. And the bottom line was I healthy enough to undergo major surgery? And were my own kidneys healthy enough that I could afford to spare one?
How have you been doing? Fantastic, fantastic. You look good.
Oh, thank you. It's nice seeing you wearing my old hat as a journalist.
Dr. Esen Alam is the medical director of the Live Donor Program at the Montreal University Health Centre.
The process of being assessed is so exhaustive, and why is that necessary?
So we want to make sure that the donor, yourself, that you're healthy and you can live with one kidney. And so we do an extensive medical evaluation, a surgical evaluation, as well as a psychosocial evaluation to make sure people understand what they're getting into. And once they give a kidney, they can go on with life without having to worry about their health. Come on in.
Dr. Alam is also a nephrologist specializing in polycystic kidney disease and has been my brother's doctor for years.
So, how's it feel?
It's liberating, definitely liberating. I mean,
Because live donors are so thoroughly checked, he says their organs are healthy, and that means better outcomes for recipients like my brother.
I knew your brother when he was in the clinic before he developed advanced kidney disease. I then was there when he started dialysis, and to then see him get a kidney and be able to walk out of the hospital, it's really rewarding to be part of that journey.
Nice toss, Matt.
But the journey itself wasn't easy. For both of us, there was so much at stake. John has 3 kids, so do I. Everyone was anxious, but also reassured because every step was such a cautious one. I didn't focus on the risks that come with any surgery. Not being able to do something would have been much harder. And we were in such good hands.
Hey, Dr. Feldman. Hi, Dr. Paraskevas. It's a reunion. Good to see you.
So nice to see you both.
Dr. Stephen Paraskevas and Dr. Leanne Feldman were our surgeons, and they were happy to talk to us about what can seem like an overwhelming process for live donors, but is routinely a successful one.
What would you say to prospective donors to ease their anxiety about it?
I think the first thing is that it's not right for everybody, but the first step of starting the process could be right for everybody. And over the years, we've really worked on trying to improve the experience for the donors in terms of the recovery from the surgery.
Right, and you know, you talk about it being a brave decision. Why do you say that?
Well, you're the hero in this situation, Joanna, to have an operation that you don't need, that you don't benefit from, except in a psychological sense, knowing that you did something great for someone you love. That is unique in medicine. We don't have any other treatment or procedure that we do on someone who doesn't really need it.
Yeah, it makes it special for you guys too, obviously, right?
Absolutely.
What kind of impact do you hope any story, not just this one, will have on live donors and, you know, just the prospects of more transplants?
Well, I think just the more people demystify it, it's not to minimize it, it's a big deal, but that it's something that will change somebody's life, literally, overnight.
I wish my family's story ended here, but it doesn't.
The day of the surgery was surreal, I'd say.
My sister Jeannie, who lives in Ottawa, has the same disease and recently found out she will also need a transplant soon.
How did it help you seeing us go through it?
I think it prepped me and it made me less afraid because you had a big role in not letting us get super nervous. And you were the filter for all the information. I think part of me was too scared to look up all the information about what I need to know.
So we kind of prepped you.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Making it messy.
Jeannie's children are at risk of developing the disease later in life, so they can't be donors. Her blood type is also O. The hope is she'll find a live donor before she has to go on dialysis. She's anxious, but the success of our surgeries showed her the way forward.
I guess it gave me hope. It gave me hope and it took away a lot of the weight. Not that the weight's not there. I mean, it'll be there until I finish the process myself. But it took away a lot of the uncertainty.
The fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have another kidney to give you. Otherwise, I'd give you another one, Jeannie. Have another.
My brother and sister are the brave ones. I was spared the disease, but I consider being able to help a privilege. This disease could affect the next generation in our family too. This story is about hope. It's for all of them and for someone else's family too.
Wow. Okay, Joanna, talk to me. I have so many questions, starting with maybe why you wanted to share your story in the way that you have.
I really just wanted to raise public awareness about the role, the critical role live donors can play. There's more than 4,000 Canadians on a wait list for a transplant. Most of them, about 80%, need a kidney. So I helped my brother, for sure, I helped him directly, but it also means that he got off the wait list for a deceased donor. And that puts one family closer to a transplant. So there's this huge shortage of organs, though, that remains, and live donors kind of fill that gap, if you will. And it's quite easy to become one. If you're in good health, anyone can donate to anyone that they want to help, and you can live a normal life with one kidney. So it's definitely worth the payoff.
And can I ask you what would have happened if you hadn't been a perfect match with your brother?
I could have still donated a kidney on his behalf. It's called the Paired Kidney Donation Program, run by Canadian Blood Services, and it's in collaboration with the transplant centers across the country. So what would have happened was I would have given a kidney, and that would have been matched to somebody that it was a match to, and a suitable living donor would have been found for my brother. So this program has helped about 900 Canadians since it started in 2009, and a single paired donation can result in 10 transplants. So it's a remarkable program, and it does offer a lot of hope.
Well, it's a great story. Thank you for telling it, Joanna.
Thank you.